What do cheese pastries, red phone booths, and Popeye have in common? They are all very popular in Malta, and I had the chance to visit Malta for free. Well, I had to pay for the food and the flight, but the accommodation was completely free. I have a friend named Leek, and Leek's sister's godfather has a house in Malta and invited us to stay over. And so Leek and I booked the cheapest tickets with Ryanair and stayed in Malta for a week. There are quite many things to do in Malta, the most popular being the Blue Lagoon and the Golden Bay, but we didn't really want to go anywhere where it takes longer than a 20-minute bus ride to get there. So we mainly stayed in the Sliema area and explored it as much as possible. We saw a lot of beautiful architecture, fancy doorknobs, a surprising amount of traffic paired with teeny tiny pavements, and never-ending construction. Sliema has many shopping malls, some cool and some not so cool, but one of them did have a rainforest cafe. I can't believe they have one! Which we had to go to. Look at this giant pickle.
No, that's a rainforest pickle.
But of course I was most excited about beaches. It's been a while since I submerged my whole body in water and walked with my hands. And we visited many of them in this area. Most of them are rocky because they're made out of stone, and the last beach we visited had a leakage problem, so we couldn't swim. But there are two sand beaches, which were one of the best ones. The St. George Bay and the Valletta Bay Beach, even though it looks worse in real life. But the most memorable beach was the one that we went to on our first day, Tiime Point? Starting off, it had a great view of the capital of Malta, and we took some great pics. However, getting into the water felt like stepping on thousands of Legos. Ow! Ouch! Ah! Ooh! And I didn't notice that there was a ladder on the other side. The water, though, was nice and refreshing. After a while, I asked Leek to take some pictures of me, so he went up. I was posing and having a great time overall, when all of a sudden some friendly waves started to come in. Hey, this is fun! Whee! Whee! And then I noticed that I was the only person in the water, which is not a good thing, I think. So the friendly waves started to become a bit big, so I had two choices. Either stay in the water and jump the waves, like Mario jumps hoops, or try and leave the situation, but try not to get hurt because it's very sharp and slippery. So while I was not trying to panic and fear for my life, I panically started shuffling to the exit. That was so scary. So I think I'm bleeding. What? How? How did this happen? It didn't seem too bad, but we left a little pool of blood on the rocks. And all of this happened not even 24 hours into our stay. So that was a fun start. Other than beaches, we of course needed to visit Valletta, the capital of Malta. It was a 10-minute ferry ride away from Sliema. The city was way smaller and way more cardio intensive than I expected. How many are there left? Oh, were you kidding me? We walked around a lot. We saw some buildings and some cats and took a look at their selection of souvenirs, mainly focusing on the cute ugly and ugly cute postcards. And finally, let's talk about food. We tried a lot of traditional food like pastizi, and circular apple pie, bread pudding, or at least I think it's bread pudding, I'm not too sure. All I can say, it tasted like Christmas. And ftira. Other than traditional things, we also went to the local but not so traditional places, like McDonald's, to try the stuff that we never heard of. Like the steakhouse fries, chicken thighs, devil sauce, and the ranch burger. It sounds more American than Maltese, but I'll take it. And the little birds were very interested in our food. You don't have any manners, mister. And most importantly, we visited Lidl. You might be asking, McDonald's? And now Lidl? What's wrong with you? Shh. Listen, I love Lidl. I went to Lidl in the Netherlands, in Germany, in Latvia, in France, and now Malta. And it's very interesting to see how it adapts to other countries. So what did I find? Well, first of all, they celebrated the 15-year anniversary of Lidl being in Malta. So they had a lot of really cool merch, and I was heavily debating if I should buy these shoes or not, because I don't really need them, but they look hella cool. Should I buy them? Should I not? Should I buy them? Should I not? Should I buy them? Or should I not? Then, in general, what's different about Lidl in Malta is that they have a big selection of crisps,
What is the gobbler?
ricotta cheese and wine, and a whole area to scoop up some seafood. Plus, they had some items that I never seen before from familiar brands, and their prices for fresh fruit, quite expensive. Like bananas for $1.70. But the day I visited Lidl was, I think, one of the worst days to visit Lidl. It was pure chaos. Everybody was walking everywhere, and there were so many lines that almost all cash registers in Lidl were open, which is one of the rarest sights in life you can witness. But we did manage to get some goods. And now the highlights of the trip. Cats. There were quite some cats. They were all cute. I usually drink tea, but I do indulge in some coffee. And the place that we stayed at had 3 coffee making thingies, and not 1 but 2 milk foam makers. It was great for making coffee, but the only way I could make tea is with this big pot. Lizards. Quite some little tiny lizards. And I actually visited Malta like 9 years ago, and we managed to recreate the photos from that time. So here you go. They look pretty neat.